thank you, John, and thank you for the conference organizers for this opportunity to tell you a little bit about Serengeti and our prospects for the coming year. Here we go. Well, there is an exploration component to this, so of course I will be making some forward-looking statements. This is a long one, but you've had plenty of opportunity to read these statements, and I will be making some as we go forward here. So in terms of the capitalization of the company, we've have just 86 million shares outstanding, just under 100 fully diluted. Management insiders and founders control on the order of 24% of the company. Current treasury, as a result of a deal that I'll describe here shortly, is with $7.4 million. 1.1 million of that is in Serengeti, and 6.3 sitting in a related private company. A market cap of about $13 million. At 15-16 cent share price. Well, what's the focus? Our principal project is called Kwanika, and it's a high-grade copper-gold porphyry deposit. We have in November, so just a few months back, finally, after quite some time talking, secured a formal agreement with POSCO Daewoo to take their project ownership from 5% to 35% for an additional $7 million investment. So we've got that money in the joint venture company now, and over the next 15 to 18 months, we'll be advancing a pre-feasibility study for the project, fully funded by our partner. So in addition to that pre-feasibility stage project, we've got a number of exploration bets, one of which I'm particularly excited about, and I will touch on a couple of those. So I mentioned the private company, that's Kwanika Copper Corp. That's currently owned 65% by Serengeti, 35% by our partners as a result of this recent $7 million inflow. What we'll be looking at over the next 15-18 months is advancing a PEA study that we did in early 2017 that identified about $190 million value project at a 7% discount rate. We remain operators of this project, and we'll be advancing the PFS study on that. In terms of the summary economics, and this was, John mentioned the optionality play. Our base case economics, 21% pre-tax IRR at the spot pricing of $2.90 copper and $12.70 gold. Of course, we're well north of that. And that's particularly evident in this copper price chart, which you've seen a few times now over the last couple of days. And what we've seen really over the last 18 months is a break of that really prolonged downtrend that we had there that led to a tremendous disinvestment really in the copper exploration and development space, combined with a very significant forecast, at least over the next 12 years, of increasing copper consumption, driven largely by electric vehicles, EV, and of course electrification. So what will we be doing over the next 15 to 18 months on the Kwanika PFS? We're right in the midst now of going out to RFPs for all the independent firms that will be working on this project. There will be a very significant drilling program starting in early June that will, of course, gather all the information that we need to do, additional metallurgical samples, geotechnical drilling. But importantly, we'll be stepping out around that resource, around the central zone in particular, which is the highest grade of two zones that we previously evaluated in the PEA, to look to expand that high-grade resource and then test a particularly attractive exploration target to the north that I've got a slide on here in a minute. Budget of that project then over the next 15 months, about $7 million. So, well, where's the room to expand this resource? In 2016, we put 3 holes into the project. The hole 177 was right through the deposit, right through the guts of the deposit, and that was a really stellar hole, 430-meter intercept of 0.7 copper and 0.8 grams gold. Well, where can we find more of that kind of grade? That's going to be the economic driver for this project. Hole 179 that you see on that, and this is, I should have said, a geophysical long section. 179 was the 3rd hole of our 2016 program, and basically ended in good grade mineralization, increasing grade, copper grade mineralization at the bottom of the hole when we ran out of drill rods and ran out of money, essentially. Left the casing in that hole. And the first thing we will do in this year's program is re-enter that hole and look to tap into the kind of grade that we see in the main part of the deposit. We think we're stepped across a down-drop fault there. We'd also be following up on hole 178, which is about a half a kilometer to the north, where we feel we've drilled a pyritic shell with about 1/10 of a gram gold over 245 meters. That looks to us like it's in the immediate carapace to a potential next deposit. Well, that's Quinnica. We'll very quickly touch on a couple of exploration bets. In this past fall, we drilled 2 properties, Milligan West property, and obviously just to the west of the Milligan mine, and that has that's identified a target we feel for the next follow-up, and that would be that large pink blob there, about 4 kilometers west of the Milligan mine. We've got a different geophysical signature there, more akin to what we're looking for, we think now, in an intrusive with some good copper-zinc geochemistry in what looks like a shallow target. So we'll be looking to follow that up with shallow RC drilling, for instance, so a cheap first pass, and see whether a deeper diamond drilling is warranted. The property and the target that really gets me excited is a project called UDS, and that is 100, I should have mentioned the previous project is in partnership with the Fjordland Exploration. We own 56% of that project. The UDS project is 100% owned by Serengeti, and it's in the Kemess mining district. Interestingly now, both Kemess and Milligan West have the same owners. Centerra Gold recently bought Orico, and so there's very active M&A activity on a big scale happening in the copper gold space in BC. What do I like about UDS? Well, it's just up the valley from the Kemess South, 3 billion ounce gold producer, and in the same area as 2 other deposits that Centerra will be advancing here, Kemess Underground, Kemess East. Our target area is that yellow patch there. Well, what did we do in 2017? We put 3 holes in 3 wide-spaced holes into a very large intense IP anomaly, and we've got the right rocks. We have really intense QSP or quartz sericite pyrite alteration, and rocks that are strikingly similar to those that sit immediately above the Kemess underground and adjacent to the Kemess East deposits. So clearly more work warranted here, more IP, additional drilling. Step out and identify the full size of this IP anomaly and then vector within it to find a copper gold system. So that's it, just a wrap up slide. Then what will we be doing in 2018? Advancing PFS with the partner funding. Some of that work, of course, will be looking to expand resource, plan and execute drill programs on the UDS and Milligan West. And of course, as always, we're constantly on the lookout for for additional opportunities. Thank you.